Hey MotoCrew family, it is Kristian Daniel Sr, KD dad, Kristian Daniel Jr.'s dad, and I wanted to make another entry for the Race Dad Diaries, just where I'm sharing experiences on what I've learned over the past 3 years. This is entry number 2, and today I'll be talking about fearlessness. A lot of times people see Kristian, he's 8 years old, he's pretty fast. And they'll see him at a track, or they'll see a video of him and think, man, that kid is fearless. And the truth is that that's not his character at all. And it sounds like they're talking about recklessness, or that he'll make any move, he doesn't care about, what's at stake. That's not the case. He approaches the limit cautiously. He's not the type of kid that's going to jump off the roof into the swimming pool and things like that. I want to talk about how do you take a kid that's fairly cautious like that and get him to go faster, because you have to push your comfort level before you're able to get faster. It's just normal. So how do you do that? Or how do we do that, at least? There's 2 things that I wanted to talk about. One of them is risk management, and the other one is fear management. Risk management is when you'll hear a MotoGP rider, let's say Marc Marquez, he says something like,
even like this, when we push, I try to push hard 3 laps, but then I say, okay, I will crash again, so better to keep these 20 points.
So they're professional risk management professionals, if that's the thing. I train Kristian on that. An example would be, we're in Spain and he was doing 20-minute sessions learning a new bike and a new track and everything like that. And he knocked 9 seconds off of his lap time over the course of 2 or 3 days. And every time he would do a 20-minute session, he would come in and say, I can go a little bit faster. I tell him, dude, you did a great job. And he'd say, I can go a little bit faster. He set a limit for himself. He pushed and pushed and pushed. And then he realized that, hey, I wasn't at my limit yet, so I think I can go a little bit faster. I can brake a little bit deeper here. I can open the throttle earlier. He knows his own limit, and he knows he was learning the limit of the bike. So I was proud of him for that. That's risk management. And the other example is when we were flat tracking about a month and a half ago, dirt track racing. He ended up taking 3rd, and he came in and said, hey, Dad, the pace was really high. They were growing really fast. I was trying to keep up with them, but I almost crashed a couple of times. So I looked back, I saw the 4th place guy was pretty far back. So I just rolled off a little bit so I can at least pull in a 3rd as opposed to crashing, And I was proud of him for that. That was a very intelligent decision, because I'd prefer for him not to crash if the pace if the limit of the bike or the limit of the rider that he's racing against is too high. I'd prefer that he just, take the 3rd and not crash, to understand that. Well, one, you have to work on the rider understanding his own limit. You have to work on the rider understanding the limit of the bike and feeling that, understanding the limit of the competition that he's racing against. Maybe the pace of them is just too high, and also understanding the conditions of the track. Maybe the track you normally ride on is dusty, or it's cold, or it's hot, which all feels different. So maybe what you normally do won't work today, and understanding that limit, or increasing the feeling that a rider has, or developing that ability, is critical. Seat time is the #1 way to do that. Other way I do that with seat time is having Kristian ride in a bunch of really crappy conditions, because poor tires, cold, things like that, in a slow parking lot scenario, so the risk is low. He's not going to get hurt, but he can really feel what it feels like to approach the limit of the bike, his physical limit, the limits of the track, and play around, and then push over the limit on purpose a bunch of times and try not to crash, and just feel what that feels like, so that when he's riding at a higher pace, we don't ever get to that limit when he's at full race mode, but at least when he's at the doorstep or the threshold of the limit, he knows what that feels like. Let the rider decide if a move that maybe is available to take, he's the only one on the bike and he's the one with the feeling, so let him decide if it's worth taking that risk or not. You don't decide that for him. So that's risk management.